Hi, everyone. We're all locked and loaded here. Glad you could join us. Quick reminder, if you don't mind, please keep yourself on mute. Add your affiliation next to your name on the Zoom ID. Arnie is here if you need record permission. He is the man on top of that. And of course, if you have a question, hit the virtual raised hand function, just like David Turner has already done. Johnny on the spot. David, welcome. We'll get to your questions here in just a bit. Well, a very busy stretch begins this weekend. Seven races effectively in 7 weeks, and the second oval of the season coming up at Worldwide Technology Raceway in the Bommarito Automotive Group 500, presented by Exalta and Valvoline. The first Sunday night primetime race for the series with coverage beginning at 8 p.m. Eastern. That is 7 Central on Fox. Scott McLaughlin clearly loves qualifying and racing at the track. Two-time NTT P1 award winner and runner-up in last year's race after race high 60, or rather six. Let's see here. Led 6 times, 67 laps. I believe that's the correct stat on that. 4 starts on the mile and a quarter, and Scott, it's a fifth, a fourth, a third, and a second place finish. Not in that order, but that's it in your 4 starts. So only one step to go before it's all said and done. Maybe it'll happen this Sunday. And the driver, number 3, Dex Imaging, Team Penske Chevrolet, joins us. Happy belated birthday, Scott.
Thank you. Thanks for the present of joining you guys today. So, how are
It's
you?
the gift that keeps on giving for you.
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed some downtime last weekend because we know it's going to pick up fast and furious beginning this weekend. I'm sure you're looking forward to getting back to St. Louis.
Yeah, absolutely. And I spent a bit of time in St. Louis last week, and
Yeah.
everyone was pretty pumped with how everything was. Um, yeah, really excited to get back there. Obviously, it's a track that I love, and I've always gone pretty well at. So it's something that's I go into a place there with a lot of confidence, and the way that the season's going for me right now, I needed a bit of a rebound here and just get going. The last 2 events have been pretty tough, so. Yeah, all good, and we'll just go in there with a lot of confidence and see where it ends up.
It's almost like a season reset after the weekend off, and it's been tough for a lot of drivers considering what Alex has done so far here in 2025. But what is it about St. Louis that's been a really good track for you?
It's probably the closest that you have on an oval or a short track oval that we go to that it kind of replicates a road course in some ways. Just fast sweeping corners, turns 3 and 4, and then 1 and 2 is tight and twisty, and you're down a couple of gears using the brakes a little bit. That's another thing. It's very unique to use a brake pedal on an oval in an IndyCar. So and we're doing that every lap. So you're definitely pedaling it. And I don't know, I've really enjoyed it. I enjoy that sort of style of racing. I've definitely started coming into my own a little bit. I mean, I got asked sort of last week, do I enjoy ovals more? And I have to say I do now. I think it's like such a refreshing change for me in my career. And now, every time I go on an oval, I feel really confident and definitely feel like, it's my kettle fish, and I really enjoy that. So, but at the same time, I've had a lot of people that I've learned off through this time, and at the team that have helped me along the way that have got me comfortable, like Benny Brett's my engineer and whatnot. So it's all good.
Who would have thought a couple years ago, especially when you did that first test at IMS, that you'd be an oval guy?
Yeah, no, I remember that test, and I remember I remember doing the Coda test in 2020, and then going to Texas Motor Speedway the week
Yeah.
after. And I'd never gone. I think my warm up lap was the fastest I'd ever gone in a race car before. So that was kind of crazy to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be great. Long day Saturday, obviously, a couple practices and qualifying to be get to the race on Sunday. We'll go ahead and open it up for questions. Again, if you have one, hit the virtual raised hand. Let's begin with Nathan Brown from the Indianapolis Star. David Turner, you're up next, pal. Nathan, go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for the opportunity to chat this afternoon. Scott, as Dave mentioned, we got a chance to race, I think probably mostly under the lights here coming up on Sunday night. From your experience running this track the last 4 years, why does it seem to race so well when we've had the opportunities to from delays and maybe some practices and whatnot? Why does it race so well and what are you most looking forward to in the opportunity of being able to run mostly at nighttime on Sunday?
Yeah, I think it raced incredibly well last year, better than I thought in some ways, especially how hot it was and whatnot. And I think, we were always crying for like a nighttime race, and I think that's really cool that we're doing it this year. It's going to be great for one, what the cars look like and how the track races, as you said. But I don't know. I think we can get that second groove working really well. The highline practice, the track takes the grip really well too. And yeah, we've seemed to sort of make it work. But it's a credit to Firestone IndyCar and the choices that they make in terms of the aerodynamics and whatnot, because I guess 4 or 5 years ago it wasn't quite like that. So definitely been improvements from the sporting side, but also from us as drivers getting up there in the highline practice, doing it properly, and cleaning that second lane up. And I think the key to any oval race is getting that second lane working for us. And it's been an ideal thing the last few years.
What is the added difficulty in any way on what's already a little bit of a condensed weekend, as all ovals are, minus the 500 in IndyCar, along with the fact that you guys won't be practicing or even qualifying at the time of day that you guys will be racing come Sunday? Is that like, what is that process like, trying to make adjustments both mentally and with your whole team, Ben included, just to make sure that the car is set up properly for those conditions that you won't really have a chance to test out on Sunday?
Yeah, it's certainly difficult for everyone. Obviously, everyone's in the same boat in that regard. And you're I guess now have this is my 5th year or whatever in the series. So leaning back on past experiences here is ideal on what that feels like. Because it's going to be pretty new. Ultimately, the sun's going to be up for a little while, and then it'll eventually get cool. So you've got to sort of really think about what your car feels like at that start, at that first run, and then and the first half of the race, but the back half of the race is where the money's made. So, I anticipate that there's going to be like a breakout, and maybe like the first sort of half of the race, potentially, like, you'll have guys up there that the cars are really good. And then when the sun goes down, the lights come on, you'll have guys that had their cars set up for that moment. And hopefully we're on the back end of that and make it work.
And my last question for you is a two-parter. First, is that break later code on Good Ranchers still good for 0% off on orders?
There's only one person it works for.
And have you had a chance to have any desire to talk to Tony to clear things up at all?
No, we spoke.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Good deal. Awesome. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Nathan. David Turner, welcome. What time is it where you are, sir?
Just after 5 in the morning. So things I do for you guys.
Pretty early over there.
It's fine. Hey, happy birthday for yesterday. It's mine on Saturday.
Oh, happy birthday to you.
Thanks very much. You go get a good birthday present for me. Very similar to Nathan in many ways. Just the fact that we don't really have that many night races, if any, these days. How much does that play into your timetable, sort of mentally, in terms of what you do during the day? Obviously you end up with a lot more time first thing in the morning. So is it difficult to pace yourself knowing that you've got to do things later in the day?
I'm a bit of a night owl myself, Dave. So I don't really doesn't really bother me the time difference. For sure, it's probably more like when I have dinner or whatnot. And it's the same thing when the races are at like 12:30 in the afternoon. Like you sort of got to, it's a bit of an awkward spot to figure out like where you're gonna eat. And that's probably my biggest thing, is trying to get around that part. Hovis, you're unmuted. You're unmuted, Hovis. That's my PR guy.
Hey, David Hovis. There you go. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't know technology that well. So mainly thing is getting your stomach and all that stuff like acclimatized, I guess, and making sure you have enough energy. But honestly, when you're in the car, it sort of feels pretty good. And I honestly like running at night too.
Well, the next part of that, really, you just started on it, is the fact that, do you enjoy racing at night time? I've been to quite a few night races, both earlier days at Fontana and at Homestead and places like that, and they were amazing races to witness. So, as a driver, do you enjoy driving at night?
Yeah, I mean, I always have. I feel like when we race the supercars at night as well, yeah, look, I for sure, like, enjoy it. I haven't had a huge amount of experience, I guess you could say. Nighttime, the only time has been like maybe Iowa and a few others, but yeah, I'm very excited to run at night. The cars look great, as I said, and it's always fast. It always feels faster as a driver. You know, you got your clear visor on, you sort of let it eat, so it's fun.
And then just finally, will you have Simon on board? Simon's had great, races at this track as well as you. Is there an intention to bring Simon back for this one, or was it just for the 500?
No. I mean, like that was for the month of May, but I'm talking to him all the time, and we caught up actually like last week, just about just not just that, just everything. So, yeah, he's always keeping a keen eye, and will give me tips along the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Look, all the best for the weekend. Congratulations yesterday on the birthday, and I'm sure you'll have an eye on the US golf as well this weekend with Foxy.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Thanks, man.
Go well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, David. Jenna Fryer, you're up next. Michelle from TV New Zealand, you're after Jenna. Jenna, go ahead.
Sorry, I couldn't unmute myself. New to technology, like David Hovis.
Yeah.
Scott, I know Palou has dominated this season, but at his success is Penske's expense. None of you guys have won a race this year. Is this Palou is doing something so right and is so good, or are there things that Penske needs to be doing better to get one of you into victory lane?
I mean, that's depends how you look at it. I mean, I feel like, there's definitely things I could have done better as well, and all three of us could have done better. I think Palou's on a hot streak for sure, and he's got the momentum, and momentum's a real thing. I personally think the start of my year, probably prior to Indy, was pretty strong, one of my strongest. Just one guy had won 4 out of 5 races at that point, and then he's done it again. So you just can't, I guess you can't dwell too much on the fact that we haven't won a race yet. I think we're going to strong tracks. I feel like we've shown really, really, really good pace. Just haven't put it together. I mean, a little bit of luck, a little bit of making mistakes, bits and pieces. There's a lot of things going on, but I felt like we've been there or thereabouts pace wise. We just haven't quite executed. So that's on us, and we'll work hard. And you can't, and I've said it before, like with Alex, like he's on a run right now, and you have to respect it. But you've got to look at him and figure out where you can be better. And yeah, we're working pretty hard to do that.
And I know Nathan asked you if you've spoken to TK, and you said you had, and I'm taking it you're not going to disclose what was said. My question is, where did this beef start? Because you guys had some last year publicly. I mean, is there anything you can say? Like, is there animosity between you two?
No, I mean, me and TK are completely fine. I mean, I didn't go into it because I just didn't want to, but like, I mean, we can. We cleared the air. There was nothing to really clear. It was just like, he claps back and I clap back. It's just how it is. I thought it was funny that he posted during a race, and then I like responded. I didn't think he was going to respond the next time, but he did. But me and TK have always sort of, talked on the social media, have been completely fine. Like, it's not like a year-long feud or whatever like that I've seen around, but it's just one of those deals where, like, if someone's going to call me out, I'll clap back as well. And it's just who I am. I'm not going to change. So, yeah, it's all good. It won't affect anything moving forward, at least from my end. And yeah, we talked and it was all good.
And lastly, his clap back was a little personal. Did that sting at all?
Like I said, I was surprised that he did. But yeah, it is what it is. That was his decision.
Okay. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jenna.
Hey.
Michelle Prendeville at TV New Zealand, go ahead.
Hello, Scott. Good morning from New Zealand.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I hate to bring up the Indy 500, but for us in New Zealand, our hearts were breaking for you and watching that moment. Can you just take us back to then and how tough mentally that was for you?
Yeah, I mean that whole month was pretty tough, but it started really well, and then obviously ended in a couple of bad ways with my crash before that, and then crashing another brand new car. So yeah, look, it was definitely one of, if not the lowest point of my career. But there's something that I'll learn from. I still am a little bit perplexed about what happened in that scenario and how it did. Never sort of done that before in my career, and yeah, it was tough. But the champions are made from learning from their mistakes, and I truly believe we had a really fast car. I feel really strong on ovals. There's nothing to be, I guess, upset about, apart from the fact that I felt like I sort of wasted a really good opportunity, just from a pace perspective. But yeah, look, you learn, live and learn. Sun always rises, and you just got to get on with it. And the best thing for me the week after that was getting back in the race car, and felt really good, even if it wasn't the most ideal result either. So, like I said, I think we've got really good pace, we've got good momentum. We just need to just keep going.
We've seen you bounce back heaps of times before, but what motivates you, especially in IndyCar and this season?
I just You just want to be better. I just want to be the best if I can, and I work really hard on my trade to be strong and mentally, physically, and I feel like I have been driving really, really well. Just luck and a couple of mistakes on my side that haven't worked out. So most important thing for me is to learn from all these things and hopefully be stronger on the back end.
We were also told by a guy, Chris Mead. I don't. You met him, I think. He presented you an All Blacks jersey. Can you just tell us about that moment? He mentioned maybe you were quite emotional in that moment. Can you share what that meant to you?
Well, it's full circle because Gallagher Insurance actually sponsor me here in America and have done for the last few years. So they are now an associate of all the All Blacks, and obviously that's the national rugby team, and so a team that I follow really closely. So they're playing here in Chicago later in the year, so I'm definitely going to try and catch it. And yeah, just it's crazy how it's gone sort of full circle. But now I feel like I've got more of a connection to the team, which is really cool. And when Chris told me about it, that it was happening, he actually told me, a little bit in the 500 month, and it was just so exciting. So, would love to try and get some of the All Blacks guys to a race and see what it's all about, and vice versa.
Nice one. Thank you so much, Scott, and good luck this weekend.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. Archie O'Reilly, Dive Bomb Motorsports. Go ahead, Archie.
Cheers, Dave. Hi, Scott. Belated happy birthday, first of all. But just to kind of follow up on the indie stuff, you obviously say it's one of the lowest moments of your career, and it was just good to get back out there. What has the process been since then for you, just to put that to the back of your mind, and maybe in the immediate aftermath of it, just to put it to the back of your mind?
Like I said, I think I'm still sort of figuring out like what happened. I've got half an idea of what happened, but for me, I've had plenty of low moments in my career, and I felt like I've come back pretty strong. And that as long as I try and turn this negative into a positive, that's the main thing. I can't just dwell on that moment, but I've got to, it was at the time, obviously I was really sad and was just very emotional about the whole thing. But now you look back at it and there's something in there, like I said, that I'll learn from and make me better in the future or whatnot. And that's how you got to look at it. You can't look at it any other way. If you keep dwelling on it and whatnot, or worrying about if that ever happens again, like you just can't. You just got to just eyes forward. And like I said, sun always rises. There's a lot of people with worse dramas than I do right now, and it's just I feel like I'm in a really good spot, very happy, and just going to keep rolling.
And then kind of following up on what you were saying about your season to date as well, you obviously see yourself, 150 odd points behind Pelot. What does that kind of do to your mindset? Do you, at this point, still believe, I can win the championship?
Yeah, I just look, for me, my biggest goal right now is just to capitalize on some of the pace that we've had. I felt like we were really quick at Detroit. We're in a really good spot there before the incident. And then, obviously Indy, I felt quick all month. Had my best result at the Indy GP for God knows how long. So it's we've had some positive momentum, but it's just putting things together, putting the pieces of the puzzle together. And sometimes I've been in the sport long enough that not just IndyCar, but in supercars as well. Sometimes you can have a fast car and you just don't put it together and it's not your year. I don't believe it's not my year yet. I certainly need to get on the train and start winning races or, getting some consistency back, or at least trying to slow down Alex a little bit. But like I said before, that guy is executing at a really high level, and you've just got to try and raise yourself to that level. Not only you, but your team and everyone. And you can't look at it as like, we're terrible or anything. I personally think we've been really, really strong. Just the pieces haven't fallen right now. So I'm just going to keep going.
And we're obviously a few weeks on now from some of the personnel changes at the team. Just how have things been since then? Obviously, having lost some key people, and what has that kind of transition or adaptation phase been like since then?
Yeah, no, it's been obviously there's a lot for the team to take in, and we're still working through things as we speak. But ultimately, I think the best thing about Penske is the depth that we have throughout the whole factory, and I'm really sort of excited to just get on with it, excited for the future of the team. I'm here for a long time, so I've got an avid interest for this to work and to be as strong as we were before, which I certainly believe we can with the people that we got. So, really, sort of it was sad, obviously, like I said earlier, about what happened, but I respect the decision, and you just got to press on and work with the people that you've got, and we'll be okay.
Thanks, Scott. Best of luck this weekend. Cheers, Dave.
You got it. Thanks for joining us. We'll a week from now be heading to Wisconsin. Dave Kallman from the Sentinel Journal. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Scott. Thanks for having me. As Dave said, I do want to jump ahead. This is kind of a two-part question. Certainly, the kink is one of the signature corners there. What are your general impressions of it?
It's a great corner. Tough corner on cold tires when you come out of the pits with full tanks. But traditionally, it's pretty easy to hold flat, but it's quick, and if something goes wrong, like I did for Joseph last year, you can wreck a car pretty easily. So, but it's a staple of the track there, and I certainly love Road America. It's definitely up there with my favorite road course. But it's a lot of fun.
The second part of that is you seem to be really good at finding new stuff there, like the curbing after the repave. They did in the off season put in a product called Grasscrete at the exit of the kink. It's like perforated concrete that the grass is supposed to grow up through, and so it'll keep dust down, but ideally won't really affect the. It's not like a full-fledged runoff or anything. Are you familiar with that product at all? And B, do you have any thoughts on that?
No, my thought is that's very interesting. And two, I have no idea what that is. And also, I didn't know that was happening. So that's very interesting. I'm sure I'll find out when I potentially drive out there and one of my first hot laps of the practice in a couple of weeks. But I think it sounds like it's a pretty smart thing. But time will tell. I'm sure if you have 27 IndyCar drivers complaining about it, the track doesn't care. It's fine. They can do what they want. It's their track. So we just have to get around it and work out the best way to get through there the fastest.
All right. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. We'll see you next week. Samuel Stubbs, yardbarker.com. Go ahead, Samuel. Then Joey, you're up after that. Go ahead, Samuel.
Thank you, Dave. Thanks, Scott, for being with us today. Going into St. Louis, Dave mentioned earlier, individually, you've had a lot of success there, but Penske as a whole, when you look at what they've done in IndyCar, winning two of the last three, and also on the NASCAR side, obviously a whole different discipline there. But Penske has just been really good at this racetrack. Is there something in particular you can point to, or is it just, y'all bringing fast cars to the racetrack, or is it something that St. Louis just fits with this team?
I don't know. I can't comment on the NASCAR stuff, and it's awesome when you see them doing really well there. But I think, like for me personally, I just feel like, cars have been really strong there in the past. I tested there in 2021 and we learned a few things there, and that's sort of carried our momentum through the whole time. But you can't sort of rest on your laurels here at IndyCar. Things will change and whatnot. But, I like I said, I feel confident going there. I feel as a team, we feel confident. It's just a matter of putting it all together. But I think, I don't know what sort of works out for us. It just seems to suit our racing and suit our the style of setups that we take to the short ovals.
And then earlier you mentioned the different corners, just how different those both ends of the racetrack are. I talked to Alex Bowman at the NASCAR weekend last year, and he was kind of comparing it to Darlington on the NASCAR side, a track that just has two completely different ends. Do you feel like you have to sacrifice handling maybe on one end with the tighter radius of corners as opposed to the other end with the wider? Do you feel like you have to sacrifice handling at one end to get it better at the other, or is there a happy medium you can kind of hit with that?
There's a happy medium, but I definitely think you need to think about both ends for sure and how you get through there. Similar to 3-4 to 1-2. Yeah, and that's kind of why I enjoyed this track so much. It's just that challenge of trying to hustle a car that may not really suit one end, but knowing that there's a lot of time in another. So yeah, and then you add the hybrid stuff that we used last year. This will be this first time we've gone. Oh, maybe the first or second time we've gone back to a track that we've used the hybrid before. So it's a fun little layout. I really do enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Samuel. Let's go Joey Barnes from
Hey,
Motorsports Review. Hey, Joey.
Hey, Scott. I guess just kind of wanted to talk about the sport as a whole real quick. We've got IndyCar Fox gaining momentum throughout this season. And then, was it yesterday? I believe it was. F1 releases their 2026 schedule. And we see that the Canadian Grand Prix is clashing with next year's 500. I just kind of curious your thoughts on it. I mean, is it frustration that it's almost like Racing Christmas has gotten nicked a little bit, or what are your thoughts on it?
No, it's for me. It's just from a racing fan in me. I'm sad because I really enjoyed watching F1 in the morning, and obviously racing myself, and then the Charlotte race in the evening. And I did that for years. It was like a challenge in Australia and New Zealand to see who could stay up the longest, during that time. That's just how it worked out. So I did that since I was, I can't even tell you, like 12 years old. So, that's it. IndyCar is going to be great. I think it may make a decision for some race fans about what they want to do. Whether they want to be in Indy or whatever. And that's a yearly thing that always happens to people. But yeah, I guess I'm just, that day was so cool for the general motorsport fans. So obviously, they single-handedly ruined it, I guess, like I said in my tweet.
And is there any of it for you as a competitor where that kind of feels personal to a point, because it's almost like they're bullying the situation or maybe bullying the sport a little bit?
It doesn't. We've got a amazing momentum coming off, an amazing 500. We've got 110th running coming up next year. Fox is doing an incredible job with everything. From a competitive standpoint, I'm just excited for the next 500. It is what it is at this point. That's up to people that are paid a lot more than me to sort out.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks.
Thanks, Joey. Chiara from Pit Debrief. Go ahead, Chiara.
Thank you, Dave. Hi, Scott. Chiara Martin from Pit Debrief. Not an easy question to ask, but I'm going to touch upon what Jenna said earlier. Well, Team Penske has not won a race since Portland last year, which is a long drought for such a high-quality organization. Is it a testament to how competitive the series has become, regardless of the Alex Palou dominance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the series is elite right now from a competitive standpoint, and every year it just gets harder and harder and harder, especially with the more we run with this car. And everyone has got a keen idea on what they're doing setup-wise, so it really comes down to who executes the best from not only a driver's perspective, but engineers and strategists and whatnot. So, I think we've had the pace to win races. Like I said before, we haven't put it together, and we've got a pole and been qualifying pretty well. I think we've been the most of the fast sixes this year, bar a couple. So, we're right there. It's just a matter of putting it together. So, it is what it is at this point. You just got to try and look for more.
So, do you feel any extra pressure in situations like this when there is a long drought, or do you just want to keep doing what you do best?
I mean, you can't look at it if you're sort of worried about the pressure and the outside noise. You're not going to be executing right. The only thing I can execute on is what I can control. Control what I can control, drive the car the best of my ability, and if that's a third, fourth, fifth, 10th, whatever it is, or if that's a win, great. But that's all you can do. And like I said before, I don't think I've executed well the last couple of races, and I'm looking to Gateway this weekend to make sure I can get back on that horse and execute a really good race. And what will be will be.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. We got time for a few more. Anna, fastest Formula news. Go ahead, Anna.
Thank you, Dave. First, a belated happy birthday to you, Scotty, and congrats on surviving the month of mayhem. With the last two races, the Indy 500 and the Streets of Detroit being cooler races and the sun going down this coming weekend, how is that affecting you, like mentally, as well as any potential tire strategy choices for the team this weekend?
I think, obviously Indy was super, super cold. Obviously didn't feel what that felt like in the race, but I certainly felt it on the warm-up lap. But I think I don't know, you just, like I said before, it's the same for everyone. Everyone, like the weather is just who sort of does the best job at that point. And I don't think it's going to be that cold in St. Louis. I think it's going to be like mid to high 80s. So I think the biggest thing we've probably got to think about, and that's probably in the race, is if there's any pop-up thunderstorms happen or something like that, just because it is summer. So yeah. And we're in the Midwest, so yeah, it's like I said before, same for everyone. You just gotta do what you do.
Alrighty. And given your fine run of format ovals in the past and how well you've been doing so far with an upward trajectory when it comes to qualifying this year, how are you feeling heading into this weekend? Do you think your more level of expertise at ovals perhaps gives you a leg up?
I wouldn't say a leg up. I just certainly believe from my own personal way I go about the racing. I feel like I can get up to speed a little bit quicker. I understand what I want from the car and what I know, what I feel, and that's a big thing, I think, on any oval, regardless of whether you've gone there before or not. So I feel like I can really give the feedback back to the guys and girls on the team and make a pretty fast car.
All right. And one last question. It's another 3 series weekend this weekend with F1 in Montreal and Le Mans. Are you planning on watching either of those races before the race Sunday night?
Yeah, I know. Big motorsport fan. Watch everything. So I'll be watching F1. I'll be watching Le Mans as much as I can. I actually had Le Mans qualifying going on and on my TV downstairs, but I came up and seeing you guys, so I'm just hanging out now.
All right. Well, thanks for coming to see us. Thanks for answering my questions. And Dave, thank you.
No, thank you. 84 and cloudy on Sunday. 24% chance of rain. So we'll see.
Good.
We'll see. Esha, Chaos in the Paddock. Go ahead.
It's pronounced Isha, but
Isha,
thank you so
I'm so
much.
sorry. My apologies.
Figure it out, Dave.
My bad.
Yeah.
You have previously posted about a very popular reality TV show airing right now. Are you keeping up with Love Island USA right now as it's happening?
Yes, I am. Very, very much so. I am watching Love Island every night, except I haven't watched the latest one, so don't give me any spoilers. I saw one name was trending on Twitter last night, and I refused to touch it. But I am watching trash TV at its finest.
And is it a good escape from the general chaos in the paddock, watching something you can just take your mind off of?
It just keeps my wife happy. So that's it.
Okay, back to the topic at hand. Is it a hard transition from a track like Detroit, where it's tight with all the corners, to an oval track like the Worldwide Technology Raceway?
I think as a rookie, it was really hard because you just, you bounce around at Detroit, or you're smooth at Indy, and then you bounce around at Detroit, and then the speeds come back up at a place like Gateway. It does, but that's what's really cool about our series and why it's so diverse and whatnot. So so cool to be able to just go from what we've gone from super speedway now to a street circuit, to a short oval, and then we'll go to a fast road course. That's what's so cool and what makes it super cool and special to go well in the series, because it's so you could be so good on different disciplines.
All right, that's all from me. Thank you so much. I can't wait to hear more about your Love Island USA takes. And thank you so much, Dave, and happy belated birthday as a fellow June birthday.
No worries. Thank you.
We're here for the hot takes, Isha. Good call out. Time for a couple more. Adam Tropper, Motorsports Today. Go ahead, Adam.
Yep. Thanks, Dave. Hi, Scott. Adam Tropper, Motorsports Today. First off, if we're talking reality TV, I'm much more of a Survivor fan myself. But
I'm a Survivor guy too. I'm a massive Survivor guy, actually. That's my stuff. But
I also love Australian Survivor in New Zealand. Do you get that down there? Because that is Australian Survivor.
They do have it, but I traditionally have been watching the last couple of years in America, obviously.
Okay, nice. We'll have to catch up about that another time. But for now, just with everything Gateway, WWT coming up next, I'm just curious in general on your progression on ovals in your IndyCar career. You obviously broke through at Iowa last season, but at Gateway specifically, even though you haven't won in 4 starts, you have a 3.5 average finish, never finished below the top 5. So what makes you so good at adapting to new racing disciplines coming all the way from Australian supercars?
I enjoy driving a car fast, or like finding a way to do it, regardless of what it is. I mean, I've always said that I'd race a wheelbarrow if I could. Like, I'm just a racer, and I think I mean, I'm racing a Legends car now for no goddamn reason. I'm just doing it because it's fun, and I enjoy trying to learn about a different discipline. My team is fantastic in terms of who I've worked with. Simon, obviously, Joseph, Will, all my teammates that I've had since I've been here in America. Learning off them, looking at the data, working out where I can be better in the video, and I guess I'm a keen study on that stuff. So really have enjoyed getting to grips with the ovals, and like I said before, I probably prefer them now, which is a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Well, thank you. Best of luck this weekend, Scott.
Thank you.
All right, last question. Alejandro Berzosa, Pit Lane Motor, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Dave. First of all, Scott, happy birthday. I hope you had a very good day yesterday with your birthday.
Yep, thank you.
My first question is about the excitement of this challenge that the best drivers you have this year. We've seen an incredible level of performance coming from Alex. As a team like Penske, who always are used to win, and for you, who always be on top in the last couple of years, how exciting is a challenge like this to face like an unstoppable driver right now like Alex?
Well, I definitely don't think anyone's unstoppable, but I think they're certainly, when they're going through a purple patch and they're executing like they are, it's tough. And like I've said, you have to figure out where you can be better and stronger and adapt to that. And I enjoy that challenge. I would love that person to be me at that point, but that's just, I think everyone in the series is like that. He's in a great run, but there's no stopping stopping us from learning where we can improve and where we can better. We've got some great tracks coming up for us. Just got to keep our heads down, keep focused, and learn as much as we can. And we can't, like I said before, you can't rest on your laurels in IndyCar. We have been a really strong team in the past, and we still are a strong team. Nothing's slowed down there. It's just a matter of just executing, and we will.
And speaking about Alex, this weekend, apart from the Canadian Formula One Grand Prix and their round here in IndyCar, there is the 24-hour Le Mans. There are some IndyCar drivers who try Le Mans in previous years, like Alex and Scott Dixon. Would you like in the future to try to go to Le Mans, considering you have a previous experience in endurance races?
Yeah, no, absolutely. definitely something that I would love to try at some point in my career and be a part of. Just if the right opportunity comes along and if it works with my schedule. And ultimately, this is my job, and IndyCar racing is the first and foremost that needs to come ahead of anything else. But if ever one day the schedule does work out again or aligns, I'd love to be a part of it. But because I haven't been there, it's a little bit more a bit more of a procedure, and I need to be there for a longer time to sort of work out. I got to go through rookie tests and all that stuff, so it makes it a little bit more complicated. But definitely something that I'd love to do in the future.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Good luck this weekend. I hope you can get on the podium or you can win this Sunday in the IndyCar race.
Me too. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. If you're keeping score, we had a Love Island reference. We had a Survivor reference. We also had an Ernest Hemingway reference in the call. So congratulations.
Yeah, that's a big deal. I really respect the questions. Thank you.
The bingo card is full. Scott, thanks so much, man, for doing this. Safe travels, and we'll see you at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
See you guys.
Thanks, everyone. A reminder, coverage begins at 8 o'clock Eastern on Sunday, 7 Central. Also available on the IndyCar Radio Network, and video from this news conference, as well as transcripts, will be available on the IndyCar content site very shortly. Thanks, everyone. Have a great rest of your day and week. See ya.